Hello everybody, 6-Speed Dakota here, and today I got a very special project. We are going to be replacing this old piece of crap rotted out Flowmaster that fell off the other day. As we can see here, the pipe just is completely rusted and fell off. So aluminized steel, essentially garbage, especially for the amount of money I paid for it 4 years ago. But what can you do? Should have spent the money and got a stainless system. But anyway, wait till you see what we're replacing it with. And this bad boy is what we're replacing it with. This is an MBRP 409 stainless steel XP series Cool Duals exhaust. And I read online and looked on YouTube. I love the sound of it. It just sounds absolutely wild. And it definitely is going to last longer because these pipes are 409 stainless steel, has a lifetime warranty with it all, and it even replaces the factory resonator, which the Flowmaster didn't do. And it comes with all the clamps. So first thing we got to do is, first thing I always do with an exhaust system is I always lay it out and fit it together. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, but if you pre-fit it, you know how it's going to work. Then we make sure we have 4, 5, 6 clamps. These are band clamps to hold the system together. We have 2 hangers with the proper through bolts. I believe this hardware is stainless, I'm not certain. These are rubber hangers, and these rubber hangers go right there and right there. This is a very well designed kit. It actually adds an extra hanger to the driver's side for extra protection. So now there's 2 hangers on both sides, unlike the Flowmaster, which just has 1 on this side and 2 on the other. And of course we got this front hanger here for that front pipe. So why don't we get started? But of course, just in case you're wondering, there are 2 stainless steel tips. The other reason I took this out is because the box is pretty beat up. So I figured I'd double check and make sure everything wasn't damaged. Anyhow, let's install the system. The reason I chose this system is because the price was very good. It was about $500, where MagnaFlow was well over $600, and a Gibson was about $550. I think I paid $533 with tax. And free shipping and everything else, shipped it down to my cabin. So big shout out to them. Anyway, price is right. It sounds awesome. And of course, there is like no drill, no weld, no nothing installation. So you can install the system purely with basic hand tools. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring the vehicle in and we're going to get her up on ramps in the front. Since I only have 2 jack stands, we're going to jack up the back end. And yeah, let's get started installing this thing. I'm so pumped and so excited. Alright, so as you can see from underneath the truck, my Flowmaster's a little worse for wear, as you can tell by all the rotted out pipes, and that one's completely missing. This little hanger here had to be welded on. Looks like a monkey welded this on. The guy that just did the exhaust is just retarded, I don't know. Like, look at all this. This is a level of a professional welder. Well, the shielding gas wasn't even on. Anyhow, I got the whole half the exhaust system from this point back is new, so I'm going to try to take that off and save it. But the first thing you should do is all of your exhaust hangers here, like there. Let's hang the trouble light up. You take some of your favorite flavor of penetrating oil or spray lubricant and hit every single hanger. And I believe that on the factory system there's one right there, which appears to have nothing attached to it. Like that one there. So if you're removing the factory system, there's one there, and that in this Flowmaster system holds the driver's side pipe. And over there, there's one more on that pipe. And then as we work our way, sorry for making you sick at all. We work our way back. So this is the factory joint here that connects the muffler to the tailpipe. And as you can see, there's a ground strap here, which I may have to figure out something to fabricate, but we're definitely going to hit that with some penetrating oil. Don't be afraid to be really liberal with it. And of course, now since the MBRP system replaces all of this pipe here, including this resonator, we need to come all the way up here. And there will be a hanger right here. Oops. So about midway across the vehicle here. Ow, that transfer case is dirty and warm. So the lube will just help the hanger pop off. Now if we come down here, right here to this joint, right beside the transmission, right beside the catalytic converters. So be very, very careful that you are not going to burn yourself. We see there's one more slip joint right here. This will hit with some penetrating oil. And we're going to let that all soak. Now the first step we have to do is, especially if you have a factory exhaust, you have to get this joint here off. There'll be two mufflers on your factory exhaust system. There'll be one kind of right here, and there's going to be one kind of behind the axle, and that's all one big pipe. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to undo this bolt here. You're going to have to undo the other two hangers over there, and then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to undo this and then work the thing up and down to pull it off. Now if you can't jack the rear end up high enough, notice I got it on jack stands, you're going to have to cut the exhaust in half to get it out, because you can't get it out from over the muffler. So first thing on my kit, I'm going to remove that pipe all the way down there, because that one's fairly new, and that'll ease the removal of the whole system. Alright, so the first step in removing the old system, now this is going from the factory Dodge point of view here, is we need to remove the exhaust from the midpipe here. Which doesn't look like it's going to come off without a bit of a fight. I don't think we're going to have much luck with it, to be honest. There we go, it broke. Alrighty, well, I don't think this one's going to come off any easier. We might have to use a cutting tool of some sort to cut that clamp off. But no big deal. All we're going to do is, moving from the back here, we're going to wiggle the whole exhaust up and down, which really doesn't seem to be accomplishing much. In fact, it seems to be looser up at this pipe than it does here. Alright, now as you can see, I had to cut a slot in this and bend the pipe back with the screwdriver. Sometimes you just have to get hectic with it, but since this system's pretty rusted on there, I had to kind of get drastic with it. But now that I've gotten that off, all I can do is wiggle the muffler up and down, and the system should come off. You gotta be prepared to do a little bit of cutting and welding and whatnot. Or not welding, but a little bit of cutting and massaging if parts don't come off. There it goes. stupid Flowmaster muffler. Ugh. Piece of shit. Alright. Now, we're going to turn around here, and right there is one of the rubber hangers. If we can focus on that right there. So, taking our screwdriver, or a pry bar or something of that nature, just pop it out. There we go, we can just swing the hanger up out of the way for right now. And now we need to go up front and take that band clamp off. But it's really not coming off, so chances are I probably have to cut it off. Alright, so I finally broke that bolt loose with enough leverage. Now we just got to get this clamp off. A couple of taps with a hammer and a screwdriver or chisel should make very quick work of it. Alright. There we go. So that clamp is spread. I believe that this clamp is spot welded to the back side here, so that's not going to come off. But we will repeat the same process of wiggling that into the muffler up and down until we can slide that pipe back enough to slide it off. I'd have the truck outside for a little bit more room, but unfortunately it's fairly cold outside. This one's the easiest pipe yet, actually. Now the reason I didn't want to do too much cutting over there is because that factory white pipe is very expensive. It's about, I don't know how much it is, but there's 2 catalytic converters on it, and that thing is very expensive. So, and we also have O2 sensors here, so definitely don't want to wreck those. And we're keeping this pipe, so no sense in damaging it all up. Anyway, so we have an optional step now. We can start the truck up straight pipe and hear what listen to what it sounds like, or we can continue with the install. I'm sure you could pretty much guess what I'm gonna do. So the first pipe to go on is this great big long one, and that, so the flared end here is going to connect to the, now the nice thing is this has slits in it, which makes it easier to remove if you ever have to remove it. This is 409 stainless, so we don't have to worry about it corroding. Of course, you need to add your band clamp to it. If you forget, you could always undo the bolt and take the band clamp apart and sneak it around, but best to just put it on right now. Alright, so we're going to go underneath and install it. First thing we got to do is feed the pipe through and over the factory mid pipe. If it would actually go, it would be really nice right now. Alright, so now that we got the pipe in there, now that we got the pipe slid in, we look underneath, what we need to do is, stupid thing. Just kind of need to twist it a little bit so that the hanger lines up. But it's being a bit of a pain right now. So as we twist, it'll bring the hanger closer. There we go.
Alright, so the next piece to go on is this polished muffler. Now as you can see, the MBRP logo is straight up and down, and there's this little piece of flat bar on the top. That piece of flat bar faces up, the MBRP logo faces the passenger side, and of course this has a slip fit connection, so we're going to need a band clamp. Now when you put your band clamps on, try to place them in the position that makes it easy to tighten up. So there's the end of our pipe. Alright. Slide this big heavy muffler on. Again, place the clamp where it's easy to tighten up. And also, remember we had this ground strap to connect over here. So the next pieces we need to add are the two over axle pipes. Install the over axle tube. So first thing we gotta do, just feed that over the axle like that. Now what we do is we're gonna slide our clamp over top. Again, making sure that this clamp is relatively easy to do up and is out of the way of everything when it's all installed. That should work just perfectly. Oops. Let's slide this pipe in place, if I can. Oops. I just have to slide the hanger. There we go, just like that. Alright, so basically the same process with the passenger side over axle tube. Set the clamp how you want to tighten it up. Feed the pipe up over top. I've noticed it's kind of running into one of the brake lines, so we'll have to position it so it's not interfering. So you need to slide it in the top exhaust hanger here. Like, put a little spray lube in there, that'll make things move a little smoother. There we go. Make sure that slid in enough to where it's all the way seated. And we can come and reposition everything. Alright, so I ran into a bit of a snag. Ouch, that hurt. And it's because this guy here won't bolt right through the frame. Because the bolts they send, if I can grab this, the bolts they send are ridiculously long, almost like they go through the frame rail, but it even looks like it won't make it through. The only way I can see it making through is on this weird angle, but that doesn't seem like it's proper either. It says through existing hole in frame rail, and there's no existing hole in the frame rail, so I've been frustrated over this for about 45 minutes now. Actually, I don't know how long, but so what I've done is I've had to use a different bolt and a nut, and I just bolted it through there. Now there's a fairly big hole, but it comes with this flat chunk of flat bar steel that you're just gonna put in behind there, and that's where you get this guy. So now, as usual, we need our band clamp. The truck's got road salt on it underneath it. It's dripping into my face. Okay, so now what we do is we slide the hanger through like that, and then we slip this guy in here until it's all the way seated. And we twist the pipe how we want it. There we go. And then hanger will conform to whatever direction we kind of want it to go. That looks about right. And now on to the passenger side. What we'll do is we'll kind of slide the pipe around the shock and then up into the hanger. A little bit of spray lube makes a world of difference here. And of course I have to put the band clamp on, which hit me in the gut when it fell. And remember, you also want to have the band clamp so it won't hit anything when it fully seat the pipe there. Just like that. And make sure you position this pipe so that it's not hitting the shock. So it'll have to kind of twist like that a little bit. Also make sure obviously it's not hitting the breather tube line right here. And it's not hitting the frame. And that this pipe here doesn't hit the bed of the truck. So now it's time to loosely position the tips before we do the final install. So now we're going to loosely fit the tips, just for positioning purposes. Now I believe that these tips are kind of size specific. I have to see here. Yes, they are. Oh, maybe they're not. Maybe I'm blind. Alright. So we're going to position this tip. We want about a hand space between anything. And just kind of place it how you like it, kind of thing. Don't have to go all the way in. Kind of let it hang out a little bit. So now we're going to fit the pipe on the other side, or the tip on the other side. It's pretty much the same thing. And then the very last step, which I'm not really going to show, is we're going to twist and tilt the exhaust how we like it. And then, in doing so, we are going to tighten all the band clamps so that it doesn't move. But first, you want the weight of the suspension on the vehicle, which I've actually got the vehicle on jack stands, but it's sitting on the axle, so the weight of it is on the vehicle. Now, you want about a hand space between any kind of body component, suspension component, brakes. Be very wary of brake lines. Be very careful with those. But that's basically what we're going to do, is we're going to position the exhaust how we like it and finish bolting everything up. Alright, so the last tip, or the last step you have to do once you got everything tight, and it has to be really, really tight, is position the tips where you want them, angle them how you want them, make them both even, and then tighten them up. Now these ones on this MBRP kit are a hex key of some sort. Not certain of size right now, but anyway, once we're done tightening it up, we're going to fire up and hear what it sounds like.
Alright, so obviously I'm not in my garage or at home for that matter. I'm actually at school because I have time to edit video right now. Anyhow, I've been driving around with this exhaust for about a month now, and I just love it. It's
really nice and aggressively loud, and it's just fun to drive around and terrorize the neighbors with, to be honest. I really, really enjoy it. Just love it. There was a minor exhaust leak, as mentioned in the text before. The pipe wasn't fully seated into the muffler. It was an easy fix, didn't take much. I had a couple of issues installing it because where the pipe goes over the axle, it was very, very close to hitting the bed floor. There's about a hand space in there. That's my general rule of thumb. Make sure you have a hand space between anything and the exhaust. The other one is when it comes around the shock and out to the passenger side, it was hitting the shock as well as the bed at the same time. It was a little bit of a frustrating kit to install, but you know, it's not the greatest design kit all in all. I felt that my Flowmaster went together really, really easily and didn't take much at all, but this one was definitely quite a bit more difficult. And you know, it's not, I felt like the Flowmaster, the average do-it-yourselfer could do, because it's very straightforward, very well designed, and goes together. The thing I don't like is that it's cheaply built and it just rotted and fell apart 4.5 years. So this kit, I've had it for a while. It's starting to show a little bit of corrosion, but nothing, like just a little bit of surface rust. It's 409 stainless steel. You have to register for the warranty and whatnot, but it is a lifetime warranty because it's 409 stainless. If you want this, it's called the XP series exhaust, where the installer series is aluminized steel. So if you want this system, then make sure you know that. As for sound, it sounds unbelievable. I absolutely love it. It's just great. Thing I noticed that the tips kind of get hit by rocks and road debris sometimes, but you know, what are you supposed to do? It's just the nature of the beast. Also, it drones fairly loudly between 90k and about 103, somewhere in there. Just over 100 it goes away, or about, what, 55 to about 65 or so miles an hour. It's got a bit of a drone, but all in all, I love it. It's held up fine over the last month and have had no problems with it. So that's my little spiel on it. I mean, you got to be fairly mechanically apt to install this, I think, because of all the issues I've had with it. And that stupid bolt into the frame, I don't know what that whole thing was about. It felt like I had to drill the rest of the way through the frame to make a hole on either side of the rail, and frankly, I did not want to do that. You know, drilling through the frame is not something I want to do. So I didn't bother, and I just used a couple of shorter bolts that I had. So if you're installing this kit on your vehicle, keep that in mind. I've read a bunch of good reviews about it before I installed it. The only thing is, on the Chevy Colorados and the GMC Canyons, you can't get the spare tire out, so make sure you pull the spare tire out and throw it in the bed somewhere. But yeah, that's my little review of it. I love it. It's nice and loud. When I hit the remote start first thing in the morning, it's pretty aggressive. You definitely hear it from the other side of the house. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I didn't really enjoy making it, but I hope you enjoy watching it. I'll have to do a nice revving video of it or something, and some driving videos. But anyway, I'm 6Speed Dakota. Follow me Facebook, facebook.com/6Speed Dakota, Twitter @6Speed Dakota, and Google plus 6Speed Dakota, or however that's the syntax is on that one. Thank you for watching. Take it easy, everybody.